So I'm gonna go anneal this, and we'll go stick it in the lathe and see if we can't put a hole through it. Warmed it up until it started turning purple, and hopefully that will go back a little bit further, because I'm not quite sure I have 2 1/4 inches there. Grab something to measure that with. Oh yeah, that should be enough. So we'll let that cool off on its own, nice and slow. We'll go find something else to work on. I think I'm going to start tearing apart this front axle. Would you like a little lesson on how to remove ball joints? You know, the tapered pin part of it out of a housing. Alright, this one I have the nut loosened. I took it actually all the way off and then put it back on to where it's just nice and loose. I'm going to go ahead and tap it this way, see if it actually comes out that way first. Don't get too hard with it that way. It's in there solid. Now, this is something I was taught in diesel mechanics school, and I had a lot of people argue with me about it. But I did this on hundreds of tractors. I even did it on my vehicles. This is supposedly the proper way to remove it. Pickle forks are not the proper way to remove a ball joint. Believe it or not. I was taught that in diesel mechanics school. You whack it right here. And then give it a couple taps to see if it'll come out. Don't hit it hard up this way. I gotta move the camera to swing at this thing. She looks like she's loose. I'm really confused by this. Yeah, she's loose. I knew it. Had my nut too tight. Ha! And out she comes. And you can still use your ball joint. I don't know if we'll be using this one again. That's bad. Ouch. Yeah, I should have thought that one through too, huh? It's really a pain in the butt working on this axle when it's not hooked to the tractor. Okay. Still tight. That one's definitely in there. Holy cow. Really? There it went. Did you see it? She's loose. That was a stubborn one. Normally it only takes a couple whacks. And they made us compare it to using a pickle fork. And even the ones that you have to hit like 3 or 4 times, you couldn't remove with a pickle fork. You drove yourself nuts. So that one, you would have never gotten out of the pickle fork. Like I said, a lot of people disagree with that. They think that's horrible, but that is actually the approved method to remove a ball joint. Okay. Actually wore me out. I am out of shape, man. I've been sitting around too much this winter.
It stopped.
Okay. Hands are dirty. Oh no. Let me pull that rod out. Hopefully we won't need it. Hopefully we won't fall over on us. Alright. moving?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Is that working? Oh, okay, now I feel pressure. The first couple, 5 times, I didn't get anything.
Hang on. I think I'm slipping out. Yeah, can you turn that knob back off a little? Top towards you. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's working. That's the way you do it.
Anyway, nice view from over here. Look at all that dirt.
I know, I think it's packed full. Sheesh. More out yet?
No?
Okay. You got oil? Alright, we'll have to reset. Alright. Let's stop there. Do the rest by hand. Let's go ahead and lower the pressure. There we go. Sweet! Look out. Good job. You're still alive. Now we have the axle all tore apart. Ooh, that's still pretty darn warm. Nice and purple. That means she ought to be pretty soft. Should be able to work with it now. I think it's cool enough. I mean, I can hold on to it. It'll get hotter than that in the lathe probably, so I think I'll go ahead and start sawing on that. I'll hit it with a file, make sure we can cut it off with a bandsaw, and then we'll throw it in the bandsaw and cut it off. Oh yeah. Can you hear the difference? Can you see the difference? Doesn't even barely scratch it there. Starts to where the color changes, and out here, soft. Alright, so that's 45. If I come forward, I'm just barely under 45, less than half a thousandths of movement. And it moves between 45 and there's 45 and a half. So I'm within half a thousandths there too. So I'm going to call that square. Yeah, it's not bad. Didn't get a great finish, but I was just hand cranking, and honestly, I really don't care about the finish. Alright, let's bore. That's a pile of chips. Sheesh. A lot more down in there too. Well, they filled this up. Didn't even think I removed that much metal. Ow. There's some sharp ones too. This stuff is working beautiful. Got one springy one there. But for the most part, man, those are really nice pieces coming out of there. Very happy with that. Nice tan, bronze color, whatever you want to call it. That's from the drill bit. But yeah, it's very happy with them pieces. Alright, I think I'm on my last pass on this bushing here. I got try to go slow this time and really clean it up and get a nice finish on here. Wow. Wow. I was shooting for 1.375 and I nailed it. I can't believe that. I gotta take a couple more measurements. Make sure I'm in the right range here. I probably actually need a couple thousandths over that because the shaft is actually 1.375. So yeah, I'll probably have to take a spring cut, even though it's exactly where I want to be. That's 3. Oop. Square. That's 376. Okay. Well. Think I'm going to see if I can put the shaft in here. I have not tried this. I got a little bit of a lip there I don't like. Boy, that's... Whew. Oh, that's just... Yeah, it's just a hair too tight. Yeah. If anything's out of line, that's not going to fit on there. Okay, I'm going to wheel in and take a spring cut. I'll get rid of a few more of these chips here. I think I'll just let that entire pass run and I'll bring you back. Oh. Ha ha ha. Yep, that's it. Yeah, I like that fit a lot. I'm gonna get a couple love taps with the brass hammer just to kind of see. That's pretty solid. Well, what I'm gonna try first. Piece of all thread, 3/4 inch all thread. 2 washers on the back. The bushing is started in there by hand. I'm gonna put 3 washers up front. Now the reason for that is friction. See if I can get the washers halfway centered back there. Do it all by feel. 3 washers stacked up. They'll kind of act like a little bit of a bearing that way, so when you turn it, it helps a lot with them wanting to wander to the side. So let's, there we go. I hope that goes a little tighter than that. I wanted a good press fit. There we go. There we go. It might by the time we get it all the way in there. Probably should have grabbed a deep socket ratchet, huh? I was getting a little more power to it now. Resistance, I mean. Taking more power. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, that's good. That's the feel I'm looking for. It's really taking some weight on the wrench there to get it to move now. This is almost take off your coat type of operation. Oh. Are we there yet? It's getting stiff. Okay. Whew. That's it, I think. I'm just like scared spitless. I'm gonna drop this dang shaft. Reminds me of a story when I was working as a diesel mechanic. I was working on a guy's engine and I pulled the piston out of the, let's see, I think it probably went out the bottom. That's how you usually do it. I dropped the piston out the bottom, grabbed it with my hand. Of course, you know, I'm working around an engine block. Pull that last little pop, you know, out of the engine block and start bringing the piston towards me, and I drop it right on the concrete. Put a big old huge chip in the top of the piston. Ah, yeah. Let's see how far off we are. Oh. Ruh-roh. Oil's probably messing with me now, huh? Ah, come on, really? Did it shrink it that much? There it goes. Yep, probably should have left a little bit more slack in it than that. I think she's just a couple thousandths downhill like this. Should have kept the camera rolling. I decided to give her a couple love taps with a brass hammer just to see how tight it was, and it moves. So that's like a perfect fit. Yeah, because I don't want this pin to turn in this housing. Matter of fact, there's a keyway on the shaft and there's a keyway in that housing, so I'd need to put a key on this side. So yeah, this is not supposed to turn. So being that tight, I am good with that. That is like, I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome than that. I am so ecstatic that that's that tight. I guess what I'm trying to say is, a good press fit is actually good on this section. The others, I want to put about a 10 thousandths gap. You know, go over about 10 thousandths bigger than what the pin is, since they're going to be grease fittings. Actually, I just had an idea here. I'll show you how easy the shaft does move. With just a little bit of pressure, I can pop that thing right back out. So that's perfect. So next, I gotta start working on the bushings for underneath the tractor there. But this part is done. I'm excited about that. I have some 4140 here, or at least I hope it's 4140. I forgot to mark it, but I think, judging by the size of the shaft and the last project I did, this should still be some 4140. Went ahead and cut it into length so that just a little bit longer than what I want on the bandsaw. And I got that side faced. My approach to this right now is I center drill it, and then I go through with this 11/16 Morse taper 2 drill bit. It's good and solid. I got it really good and sharp. Very happy with that. So I go from center drill to 11/16, 1 inch, and then from there I'll start boring. So yeah, had some really long stringy ones there. I wasn't backing it out in time. Man, them things would shoot out of there fast with the 1 inch bit. Making me a little nervous, especially since Mr. Cosset decided to try taking off his fingers with the chips like that. So, but anyway, that's where I'm at on the bushing. I needed a grease fit for the inside of this thing, which means at least a 10 thousandths gap. And so I was shooting for 385, and that's 384. I think I'm going to leave it. And I reached in there as far as I could with the telescoping gauge, and I was pretty happy with that too. I got 384. So I guess that's good enough. 9 thousandths instead of 10 thousandths. I'm going to go with it. We'll pull that out of there and stick it on a mandrel. Man, this stuff is tough. Kind of wishing I'd done it in the Rockford, honestly. Have a little more rigidity. Got to go slow and not take up a lot. I'm taking a pretty good cut here, but I'm only traveling forward at 4 thousandths per revolution. It's just slow going. Definitely good material. You can actually hear the belt squeaking on the motor. It's pulling so hard. Definitely takes a while to skim it down to size. A little dark under here, but it fits. Got some resistance to it. I tapped it with the hammer a little bit just to kind of see how tight it was, and it went in. Of course, now it's stuck. Well, it hit up here. Let's actually squeeze a little bit of grease out. I don't know if my bushing hit. Nope, it didn't quite. That is perfect, man. Oh, I couldn't ask for a better fit in cast iron than that, man. Whew. I am very relieved. That was a great fit. Now I got a nice surface here that centerpiece will mate on. I'll show you this backside here real quick. That is almost perfectly flush there. It's just a little bit in. I am very happy with that. Oh yeah. I'll see if it clears the loader mounts. Yep, just barely. Whew, probably want to grind a little bit more on that before I put it together with the center axle. Can you tell me it line? Oh yeah. That's perfect. Well, that makes me very happy. Okay, I'm going to go to bed, and tomorrow, hopefully, we'll put the axle back under this thing. I finally was able to wedge this thing up under there. I have the chain hoist on each side. Can't really see the other one, but that's what I ended up doing, just using the chain hoist. Well, actually I had to use a chain hoist on one side, roll it under there with the jack until I get the chain hoist on the other side attached to it. But now I'm trying to measure this gap back here. I knew I'd have a gap. I knew I'd have to make a washer for that. It measures right at 250 thousandths. Like I might be able to make it a couple thousandths over just to make sure it fits tight. So I'm going to go make that real quick. I don't think I'll show that on camera. As you can see, I do have the shaft started. So things are starting to go together. I am going to have to figure out a little better way, I think, to keep this axle level. It almost balances perfectly by having it attached here like I do, but it's not quite right. Why didn't I leave the camera run? Man, That went in so easy. Remember on the table, I had to like push it. It was binding up in this middle piece. I didn't even really do that. Almost makes me want to take it back out and push it in again just to show you, but then I'll never get it back in. Okay, I think at this point, all I have left to do is up front here. I have to make a little bushing for this. This centerpiece is different than the one that was on the tractor. So I need to make a bushing that just goes over this, I'm assuming. I'm not quite sure exactly how they did that. Maybe I should go look and see if I can find some drawings or something of that. Because I doubt it would thread on there. No, it couldn't thread on there. I can see from over here the threads don't go back far enough. So, yeah, it just slips over it. And we'll put on the nut. Looks like they got a snap ring on there instead of a pin you drive in there. Well, YouTube, the risk of sounding like a whiner, this stupid bushing is kicking my butt. I measured that hole 100 different ways. And it don't fit in there now. And I've already spent an hour making this stupid bushing. Shouldn't have taken that long, but I had some issues with some tooling. One thing after another on this little guy. And of course I went to stick it in there and it don't fit. So yeah, I'm gonna grab the hand grinder, I think, and grind the sides off this bushing real quick, and that way I can fit this egg shape a little bit better. I ground the back side of the bushing just a little bit to give it a little bit of a taper. That's where it looked like it was hitting. And then just drove it in like you saw. That worked great. Now it's pressed in there good. It ain't going anywhere. Okay. I think it's about ready to pop off in there. Come on, get on there. All the way on. All the way on. All the way on, not all the way off. Bugger. I need a little more shaft. There we go. That's the way. I don't like hitting it like that. There we go. That'll work great. Oh, yeah. Okay. Seriously, I thought I measured that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did I measure that wrong? No, that is 1 1/4 inches. Okay, I got these bolts out of the 1 1/4 inch bin. They are not 1 1/4 inches. Son of a gun. Now what do? I have looked, I think, through my entire nut collection, and I have nothing in 1 1/4 inches except coarse thread. Except for this hydraulic spacer. This is one of those deals that goes on hydraulic cylinders so you can set the stop. You know, fine, stop, whatever you call it. And it happens to be 1 1/4 inches. And it happens to be fine thread. So I'm going to put that on there for now because I do not want to make a trip to town right now. To get nuts for this thing, it's going to be 35 miles one way for me to go to town and get nuts. So I'm just going to put this on there. That'll keep the pin from falling out. And I can finish assembling the tractor. And I'll be going to town here in a couple days. anyway, so I can just get nuts then instead of making an extra trip. Well, now I just gotta put the axles back in her. Even my dog is ready for this video to be over. He's so bored. Not even sure, but he's dead. Dakota. Oh, he's alive. To clean. My chip bucket is full. I started a pile on the floor. Of course, there's chips everywhere on the floor. Tools out. Lathe is full of chips. Chips all over the table and tools out everywhere. So I'll be at it a while before I can quit. As my grandpa always says, the job is not done until the tools are put away.